Hey everyone, I'm so sorry for all of the domino killer videos that you're probably being overwhelmed with or will be overwhelmed with in the coming months because Kreg just released their $500 domino clone variant. I had decided that I was not going to make a domino killer video, and then I started seeing some of them, and there were some things that people left out that whenever I got my hands on this, I thought were at least interesting to me. And so I kind of thought, what if I just did a one-take video that I put on my second channel? I don't care how it performs. I'm not going to script it out. I'm not going to maximize the retention. I really don't care about title, thumbnail. Just to share kind of my first impressions, unfiltered thoughts of kind of how I think about this tool and maybe how probably most people will eventually think about it. So first things first, Kreg sent me this. I didn't ask for it. It just showed up one day, which is kind of nice. And they have hired me in the past to make videos for their channel. I hope that they hire me in the future, but they have not hired me and they have not paid me to do this. They didn't ask for me to do a video. I didn't say I was going to do a video. There's been no contract. They just sent me this. Obviously, they hope that people will do videos on them. So I'm going to try to be as honest and unbiased as possible. However, you should know that I have a good relationship with Kreg, and I'd like to keep it that way. With that said, I'm going to be as honest as possible, and I'm going to nitpick some things that I think could be better. I think they're mature enough to not get mad at that, and I think that you deserve to know kind of like it's not, you're just going to see a lot of, this is the greatest thing ever, you should buy it using my affiliate link, and that kind of makes me throw up in my mouth. So I'm not going to do that video, but I'm just going to do a one take, just sharing my first impressions and some things that I've noticed that no one else has talked about. They may or may not matter. I got into woodworking in 2012 really hard. Would 2012 beginner woodworker Drew buy this and be happy with it instead of buying a domino? And the answer is, well, you'll have to find out at the end of the video. I'm just kidding. The answer is yes. If I were a beginner woodworker and I were not making my living with woodworking, in that I was going to use and abuse the tool every day, I would totally buy this and would not regret it because it would do everything that a domino does. There's two really good videos on this that I like. One is from Chris Salamone from Four Eyes. I think he has the best video, and I don't think anyone will be able to top what he did. I agree 100% with what he said, and I like how he did it. I think he said in that video that this is 90 or 80 or 90% of the domino for a third of the price, and I agree with that. John from Lincoln Street recently did a video this weekend, and he touched on some things that I was going to touch on that I hadn't seen people do, and I really like how he tested and he showed some reasons why you should use dust collection instead of not. So that's a good video. So I think those two videos are probably the only videos that you really need to watch to get a good idea of this. Anything else, you're just filling your watch time with tool reviews, and that's what YouTube's gonna show you more of. So whenever I was a beginner woodworker, I could not afford a domino, and so I got the bead lock from Rockler, and this has famously been nicknamed the poor man's domino because it uses basically like these dowel thingies. You clamp this onto your workpiece, you drill some holes, and then you can use stock that you cut down to get in there. And it's basically a bunch of dowels put together to give you the surface area that you would get with a domino tenon. In theory, it works pretty good, and technically you do have a really good, strong joint. I just did not like using this, and especially when it comes to like cabinets. Part of the reason why the domino and why this Kreg Edge is gonna be so great is speed and accuracy, repeatability, and being able to do mortises without measuring. So this was just, you know, if you're making a piece of furniture one or a few times, maybe, but I actually forgot I had it. I mean, I think for like, since 2012, I haven't used it. So I forgot that I still had it. So totally, Drew back in 2012, instead of buying the bead lock, if he could have bought this, my woodworking would have been way better and I wouldn't have been mad at the price. 500 bucks is still a lot of money, but I would have made it happen. So here's my first impressions on this tool. And I'm gonna try to not repeat what other people are talking about. Build quality exceeded my expectations and missed my expectations all at the same time. Here's what I mean. This half of the tool exceeded my expectations and is nicer than I thought it was going to be based on like what I saw in videos and in like images and stuff. It's really nice. This rubber is really good. There's like one or two things I don't like about it that I'll tell you, but from here down, I think it's great quality. What missed my expectations is the fence system, the metal. It's fine. I kept telling myself, it's a $500 tool. It's a $500 tool. It's fine. It's just that if you ever used the domino, I don't know what differences these metals have, but there is kind of a premium, like there's friction, but it also glides smoothly and it has a nice sound. Where this, it does glide smoothly and it does have friction, but it just feels cheaper. Now, if I never used the domino, I would have never have like noticed that. So if you have never put your hands on one of these and you buy this, you're not gonna be mad at that. You might actually like it. And it's not a deal breaker. It's just, you can tell it's not the same materials. While I'm talking about the fence, there's two things that I like that Kreg did. One thing that I don't. The first is that they have this, I don't know what these are called. It's like a ratcheting style knob where you can crank down and then you can pull it out and reposition and then crank down some more. The original domino does not have that. Like this guy, mine does because I did some modifications, but a problem that a lot of people had with this $1,300 tool is you would crank down here, which is fine, but this knob in particular, you would crank this down and you couldn't go past this point. Hopefully you can see that. And what would happen is you really didn't get it as tight as possible. And so when you're doing mortises down a long row and you're pushing, this fence starts to drift and creep and then none of your stuff is accurate. So what I did, because my friend Sedge did it, is you can find these knobs from McMaster Carr where you can crank down and then you can re-ratchet it and crank down again. So these are aftermarket. Eventually, Festool did change that because if you look at their new cordless version that just came out, they have ratcheting styles. And you can see instead of this knob being here, they moved it over here so you're not running into the port. So Festool fixed it on their like newer models. And so I like that Kreg has that. However, because I'm used to adjusting the fence from this side and this side, when I went to lock down and adjust the fence height, I'm like used to a knob here. This is just a lock and it wouldn't move. And because I'm a dummy and didn't read the manual, I didn't know. I eventually, like in 30 seconds, figured it out. But that there's a micro adjust here, which I think is really cool. The domino doesn't have a micro adjust. But because I didn't read the manual, I thought this is how you move and it's kind of like slow. Then I realized, oh, there's a button here and you can like push in and there you go. So it's totally fine. Again, if you've never used the domino, this isn't even an issue for you. And even if you have, you like figure it out and you're fine. It was just one of those things that kind of tripped me up because I'm the way I am. Now, a failure point that I'm curious about is this lock screw right here. That's all you have to lock this in place. Where on these ones, you know, you can kind of crank down, and on the domino, you crank down. This is just like a set screw. And I wonder, and I don't know the answer to this and we won't know for a while, is after however many hours of use, does this start to wear this rod or the screw, or does it start to slip? It's probably fine, especially for a homeowner or DIY or weekend warrior or a hobbyist. It's probably fine. It's just a question that will only be answered in time when people abuse these things. Something else I don't like. Right here is where you adjust the depth of your mortise. And it is it's definitely hard when you're using one hand because you're holding a microphone, but it's definitely kind of a pain. And then your hand, the hose port kind of gets in the way right here. I would have liked to have seen a different design. At the end of the day, is it still going to make a domino tenon mortise thingy? Yes, for $500. It's fine. But it's one of those things that I would eventually like get used to if I was using this and not the domino. But especially after seeing that Festool, you know, even moved their knobs for better use. to see something as crucial as your depth adjustment to be here underneath that. It works, but I don't love it. So that's me being super picky. Another thing to be picky about is when you're plunging, and I'm sitting down, but I don't know if you can see this. This little battery corner guy kind of gets in the way where the original domino, you see that? There's like nothing in the way. I'm used to holding, I was taught to hold this at the end of the barrel so that you can get the right force. And obviously with the cordless domino, you've got a handle, that's not an issue. But with this one, you know, I'd have to readjust my muscle memory to grab up higher. Not a big deal, it's $500. It's okay. It was just something that I noticed and I thought it'd be interesting to know about. While we're talking about the battery, I know a lot of people hate that it's a battery and it's another platform. I don't care. It's a $500 alternative to the domino. You would spend, this is, I think with a battery and charger, $1,500 at least plus tax. So it's literally a third of the price when you compare it to the cordless domino. And it does, in my opinion, 90% or more of the stuff for a third of the price. So it's fine. Another question that I have, which is, this is really cool, okay? So if you have a domino, there's this thing that happens. It is the coolest sound in the world. See if I can use this. When you separate these parts, here, listen to this. Hopefully you heard that. It's one of my favorite things. So the domino rides on these, I don't know, linear stainless steel rails or whatever. And the tolerances are like so good, it makes that popping sound. So I was expecting that when I pulled the Kreg apart. Now, as you saw there, I had to use the tool to do it. One of the things I like about the Kreg is you don't have to have a tool. You just press that button and it comes out. But if you can like zoom in on this, it uses these other type of rails. And it's fine. It's a $500 alternative. It's going to work. But my question is, at what point do these start to wear out and not work as well or have play? I hadn't seen anyone talk about this, and then John talked about it in his video, and I had the same question. Again, if you're a hobbyist and you're not using this every day for hours, you're going to be fine, I think. But it'll be interesting to see in a year or two how these hold up. I still think it's fine. And obviously, there's a $1,000 difference. You got to cut costs somewhere. It's fine, okay? It's not a big deal. One other thing that is interesting to me, which it makes sense and doesn't make sense at the same time, is there are some aftermarket accessories for the domino. If you want a bigger foundation, this is called the Bigfoot from TSO, and it screws right on to the Festool domino. And I thought there's no way that it is going to work. And Kreg used the same mounting holes that Festool uses. And the Festool domino accessory that TSO makes fits on the Kreg Edge. No one had discovered that or talked about that, so I thought that was really, really fascinating. So here's why I bring this up, because it's genuinely confuses me, and I want to ask Kreg this question. You obviously copied the domino down to, you have the same cutter head sizes, and you have the same size tenons where I think John found out some of them were a little shorter, which is not a big deal, but everything is the same, and you even designed the base to where it will work with third-party companies who have made stuff for the Festool domino. Okay, then explain to me why a dust extractor hose does not fit in your port, okay? You have to use a dust extractor with these. Kreg says you don't have to because they can eject chips here, but I think John found in his video that chips were getting into mortises and causing. Now, technically, I guess you could just vacuum those out, but you cannot use the Festool domino without dust extraction. So for the life of me, I can't figure out why Kreg has a you copied everything else in its dimensions, but not this. This may be a reason, is Kreg has a vacuum. This is a little cordless vacuum, and I was curious, does their small hose fit in? And it totally fits in. So I wonder, and they've not said anything to me about this, I don't know, are we going to see a cheaper dust extractor and hose? And that's why I do this. I don't know that, and I don't want to start any rumors. I don't like this port, and I don't like that this port is right here. It's a $500 tool. It's fine. Last thing, actually 2 more things I want to say. I noticed this when I was working on this earlier, and this doesn't affect what the tool does. It just rocks a little bit because of the way of the battery, where the cordless domino does not. It's like perfectly balanced. The battery's up here, obviously, but it's flat down here. Again, does that matter? No. Are you gonna love saving $1,000, and are you gonna be mad about this with $1,000 extra in your pocket? No, you're not gonna be mad about that. It's just something that is worth thinking about. And the fact that it's cordless, a lot of people hate it. I would personally love to see them make a corded version that was sub $400, like $399 or $349 if you want to get super aggressive. I think if they made a corded version for under $400, I still don't think it would be a domino killer, but I think it'd be worth the hype of that like marketing phrase. While we're talking about domino killers, is this going to kill the domino? No. And that's because, and this is what people don't understand, Festool, their primary customer base is high-end mobile carpenters in Europe. Their primary target audience is people who do this for a living and need a really good warranty and need fast turnaround service. I've had stuff break, and within like 3 days, I had it back fixed for free. They paid shipping both ways. You're not going to get that with any other company. And so Festool's geared, and their business model is built around actual people in the trades, professionals who are making a living, and they need premium tools with premium service and fast repairs. Kreg is not going to kill that market. What this is going to do, I think, and I'm not a marketing genius, is it's going to open up a segment that's been kind of forgotten about or it has not been catered to. There's a gap in the market. And all the people who have $500 that would love to use loose tin and joinery, instead of springing for this or being mad about this, they're just going to buy this or whatever knockoffs come after this. So I don't think it's going to kill the domino. I think it's going to expand loose tin and joinery to the masses. And I'm not mad about that. But because you got to get clicks on YouTube to get views, people say domino killer, and that's why you're going to see all those titles and thumbnails for the next like year or so. Would 2012 Drew buy this? Absolutely. Would he want to spend $500? No, it would be a lot for him. However, I think it'd be a good buy. Oh, there's one more thing that I thought was kind of weird, but I'm not mad about. So the domino here, like the cordless one, has these pins that you can reference the side with. I'm not going to explain it. It's really cool. And you can also like click them away, and if you need them, push them out. On the regular domino, there's just these plastic tabs. Sometimes they get in the way, but they're always there if you need them. I originally did not think Kreg had them, but I'm going to set the microphone down so you can see. It's a lot of dead space for YouTube. They have them. You just got to like flip them around. No, I guess you could keep them in this orientation, and they would still work. Like when you're pressing, they would depress. But if you don't want them, you could flip them around. So that's another thing they did. So lots of little things. So yeah, that's my first impressions on the Kreg Edge. I have no idea when it'll be available. I presume soon. And I have no idea if they'll make a corded one, but I hope they do. So hope that was helpful. Talk to you later. Bye.